Dricus Du Plessis needs a new head coach immediately. Dricus's head coach, Morne Visser, I believe that's how you say his name. He recently did an interview with Submission Radio, and it was a cope fest. It was a cope tour. We're going to talk about that interview. We're also going to talk about some quotes and some of his actions before UFC 319 that, like, it tells me that this is not going to be the right fit. If Dricus wants to become champion again, if he wants to retain the belt, if he wants to be competitive against wrestling-orientated, wrestling-dominant fighters, he has to get a new head coach. So first off, let me talk about one of the first things that made Morne Visser kind of well known, not just being obviously Dricus Du Plessis and Cameron Simon's head coach and being probably, obviously the most successful coach in the history of South Africa, although we're going to get into that. So this is what he originally kind of went viral for, but this kind of just tells you, like, kind of an unprofessional setting in this gym and kind of dumb techniques that aren't proven to help in MMA fight, techniques that aren't proven to, like, benefit the fighters. So let's watch. So yes, that is Morne Visser tasing his fighters in the foot with a taser. Looks like an electric baton, but I don't know. Listen, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm not a head coach. What do I know? I'm just a dumb MMA YouTuber. But, I don't think it's been proven anywhere in any gym outside of this one that a taser helps a fighter, do better. I mean, outside of Dricus, what other fighters from that gym are really, that well known or that on the come up? Cameron Simon's been getting clapped. I don't know that many other fighters right now. Maybe they're champions in other promotions, but in the UFC, outside of Dricus, there's not really many other fighters that are successful coming from this gym, and you kind of see why. It's like with weird shit going on like this. If anything, I would think that tasing your fighter in the foot would actually negatively impact his footwork and his movement. I don't know. That's just me. All right. So obviously we see Dricus, he endorses this, training tactic because he doesn't know any better. And we're going to get into, like, that it's easy to say, Dricus needs to get out there and stuff, but it's kind of hard because I just know Dricus does not want to leave that gym. He, obviously, listen, we see in this picture right here, he's obviously very close to his coach. He's very, very close with his coach. But, come on, dude. This guy is not going to get you that far, especially after what we saw. I mean, okay, he'll get you the UFC belt. What I meant is not going to get you far is he's not going to get you back to that position. He's not going to get you back to that, time in your career where you were champion. He's not going to get you back to the belt because this guy is egotistic as fuck. And we're going to look at now the Submission Radio interview that dropped today. And it was nothing but cope. So this first one is a short clip, I believe. I'm going to play it right now. So he had no idea that Khamzat would be able to shoot for takedowns for 5 rounds. He said that. That is those are words that came out of his mouth. Now, again, we're going to talk about, like, some of the, like I did in my last video, some of the narratives that have been shattered. One of the narratives that got shattered in UFC 319, Khamzat does not have a gas tank. That's obviously been proven wrong. He does have a gas tank. He has a good gas tank. And he beat the shit and embarrassed your fighter Dricus Du Plessis with that gas tank. Now, for him, we're gonna get into more of like their non-existent game plan and how dumb they were. But let's play the rest of this clip. Yes. So after 3 rounds of Khamzat dominating, having his way with Dricus, couldn't do anything, just kept putting Dricus in the same crucifix for 3 rounds. It wasn't until after the 3rd round, the 4th round, and it was like 3 straight 10-8 rounds. Then you tell Dricus, all right, let's try shoot for takedown. And Dricus says he's too slippery. It's just the childness and unprofessionalism is insane. And the ego, like the idea, like they were so confident, and we're going to talk more about it, so confident that Khamzat was just going to gas out. That's what Dricus thought, his coach thought. That's what they pretty much think the same as the DDP fan base. They think the same as like MMA Twitter bros or whatever. They don't think for themselves, and they don't prepare properly. All right, so yeah, he says we learned a lot. Now, this clip here is more of like just compilation, little bits of like just the dumbest stuff that was said in today's interview. So let's play this. All right, so, something I will have to agree with here. Yes, it was kind of annoying that Khamzat would continue to be in these dominant positions, but provided no like aggressive finishing ability, just would not go for the finish. I was very annoyed by that. But dude, you're more upset about the wet blanket thing. Your whole job was to prepare for Dricus to not be victim to a wet blanket. That was the whole point of your training camp. And we're gonna play a clip because you guys knew that. But yeah, their whole game plan was to let Khamzat be a wet blanket for a couple rounds until they panicked in round 5 when they told him to go for a finish. But yeah, I think they also overlooked just how well-rounded Khamzat is. Now, a lot of people will say, like, oh, almost all those significant strikes, all those shots were, from the bottom, these little rabbit punches from the bottom. That's not entirely true. If you rewatch the fight, you'll see some of those shots that Khamzat connected with are these really quick, fast shots. They're not the hardest. They're not, knockout power, but they're these quick strikes that connect to Dricus's face, and he shoots for the takedown. And they do bother Dricus. There was one shot, he hit him with the right hand and then shot for the takedown incredibly quick in the 5th round, I believe. He did that throughout the fight, but that was one of the examples. All right, so he's doing the thing that many UFC fighters and teams are doing nowadays: entitlement. It's like, I deserve a instant rematch. Blah blah blah. Listen, dude, I get it. Dricus did defend the belt twice, and he did only lose by decision. But what's gonna change with you as the head coach, dude? You're just gonna teach him to do the same dumb crap. You're gonna overlook Khamzat's well-roundedness. I just don't see Dricus winning a rematch with this guy as his head coach. I think Dricus needs to move to another gym. And then this part, dude, he starts holding his head and he's like, it sounds so easy. Like, he's even boggled. Even he can't even believe how bad his boy got dominated yesterday. And also just that dumb like line. It sounds so easy to put Khamzat. Maybe in a way, but also at the same time, it doesn't. It doesn't sound so easy to keep Khamzat and to keep him at bay and to successfully defend against his takedowns. It isn't that easy. Anyway, and we know one of the most annoying things about this is we've seen Dricus in the gym. We know how fucking naturally strong he is. Dude, he's girthy as fuck. He's juicy as fuck. You heard that. MMA Shea said that. And he's right. He is girthy and huge. We saw the video where Dricus is in the gym and like 3 other fighters tried to take him down, and he's actually holding his own, out wrestling 3 dudes. I think even 4 dudes jump in at one point. So it's like, this coach has no problem getting the average blokes, from a pub in South Africa to, spar against and wrestle against Dracus in the gym. Why weren't you getting wrestling world champions, Olympic champions, looking for fighters from Chechnya, Dagestan, from the Caucasus regions who might apply a similar style to that to practice against to help Dracus train? Why didn't you do any of that?
Stand back up and punish him. I'd rather spend the time in fixing this problem than running back into the cage, take another fight. It doesn't make sense for us now. You've just maybe met the worst losers ever in your life. Me and Dricus. I'm not
All right. Well, at least he's a little bit self-aware.
sleeping until we've got that belt back. Dricus is a bad dude. It's going to take whatever it takes for us to get back one fight and the belt. To all those naysayers and all the guys who support blanket style MMA, we in the real fight game and we'll be back again and surprise you with a statement.
I mean, this is just so embarrassing, Cope, dude. It's like you can keep pointing the finger saying, my fighter lost to a wet blanket style. Dude, you knew everyone in the planet knew exactly what Khamzat was going to do. He was going to shoot for takedowns, and you couldn't stop anything. Anyway, so now I'm going to play a video. This has resurfaced recently because of me, by the way, because I tweeted this. But this clip went viral today. It's been making the rounds since yesterday. This is video of, I believe, the training in preparation to UFC 319 against Khamzat. So this is Dracus's coach speaking very confidently in the build-up to the Dracus and Khamzat fight at UFC 319. Let's take a look.
Khamzat doesn't know what it is when people want to wrestle him. He's only facing guys who's trying to get away from his wrestling. We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling.
I mean, what is there to say? These are the kind of quotes that will haunt you for the rest of your life, the rest of your MMA career for sure, and the rest of your life. Like, I actually don't know what to say to something that like unbelievably dumb. But again, so his idea was they didn't want to shy away from the wrestling and stuff, which is fine. But then why didn't you get better people to help him train against? These guys are not Khamzat. These random dudes you're getting from some pub in South Africa. This is not Khamzat, all right? You needed to get world wrestling champions from regions of the world that are similar to that of Khamzat to really help Dracus prepare.
That guy's one-dimensional. We see his stand-up. I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up.
Yeah, that one really didn't age well. Wow. All right.
He doesn't present any problem for us.
All right. So he famously says he doesn't present any problem for us. Yeah, I think it's really annoying and frustrating just how egotistic they were. And I'm saying this as someone who really enjoys watching DDP's fight style and really enjoys watching his fights. We could have seen such a fun fight between him and Khamzat, I think. Even though I still think Khamzat would have won, it could have been much more competitive. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think personally that Dracus proved everything he could prove as a fighter residing in Africa. He stayed in Africa. He won the belt in Africa, training in Africa, in a gym in Africa. But, if you're going to excel in your MMA skill and career, you have to leave that gym behind. You have to leave that team and coach behind. I don't think that's ever going to happen because they're so close, as you can see from the picture up here. But, dude, you already did what Izzy, Usman, and Francis couldn't. You stayed in Africa. You won the belt. There's no shame in this point going to a gym in the United States, even Australia, because some of them are doing pretty well with takedown defense. But there's no shame in going to an American gym and getting a fresh start and increasing your skill and becoming a more well-rounded MMA fighter. All right, anyway, let me know what you guys think about Dricus Du Plessis' coach. Do you think that they should remain together? Do you think they should break up? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.